Yeah, so set. Yeah, I have always wanted to be a rapper. Yeah, 'cause this is my wish list. Yeah, my wish list. Yeah. Sitting in class trying to make the time pass. This is my last chance to have my mind blasted. You don't even know what it's like in this business. So sit back and enjoy the blast from the past. And when it's all done, you will feel the aftermath while you take this path in this shit. So I rap on it, 'cause this is my planet. So that this is my prime time on this hella rhyme line. So as we sit in the past, I think of these times that I can call you my mentor, 'cause you make me soar. But when I can't come up with these rhymes, so this is my time through. I'm gonna make it rain while we maintain this list, while we smoke on this abyss. 'Cause this is my wish list. Yeah, my wish list. Yeah, wish list. Yeah, wish list. Yeah, yeah, wish list. Yeah, wish list. Yeah, yeah, wish list. Yeah, yeah, wish list. 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 Yeah, yeah, wish list. Yeah, wish list. Yeah, wish list. So this is my La Familia, man. Do you understand? 'Cause this is Swiggle Mandela, my fella that came up with La Familia gang. So we go insane in the brain. So this is hard to train my brain to do this, 'cause I don't want to lose this rhyme. So I do it on the wine and dine, 'cause this is mine on this timeline. 'Cause I'm not lying while I'm tying these knots, 'cause my name is Scott, but people call me SD. So come and see this Scotty D money, 'cause he is funny with the bunny. That is why they call me SD money, 'cause he is funny with that bunny. That is no cunny. And this is my wish list. Yeah, wish list. Yeah, yeah, wish list. Yeah, wish list. Yeah, wish list. Yeah, wish list. So I sit back and smoke this hay all day, every day, even on a Sunday. All right. Making me courage to do that. Thank you, Scott.
So this one is called Life is Too Short, and over the last couple of years I've lost several people in my life that were very important to me, as I'm sure a lot of us have. On top of losing a lot of other things and just feeling really down and all of that stuff, but this is what came to me when I started reflecting on those, the things that have been going on in my life. Life is too short. Life is too short to keep wasting time, fussing and fighting over nickels and dimes, some willing to play with people's hearts and minds. People are losing their lives from all types of erroneous crimes, including more illnesses and natural causes of death on the rise. Many struggle through the day, sometimes wanting to die, holding on to the belief that only the strong will survive, pushing through the sorrow, waiting for the clouds to subside. So many suffering, not able to find someone to help them through their loud and subtle cries. Hoping to break free from and feel the sunrise. No longer just the old, but the young ones don't thrive. And when we lose any one of them, we seem so surprised. But each one has to teach one to help them rise. Tell them the struggles of life is not for their demise. Don't let opportunities you have to do this pass you by. We all are here for a purpose, to live, and one day we'll die. No one knows the when and rarely knows the why. Time waits for no one and will always fly. Learn to live better and always strive to leave an honorable legacy that will live past your time. Remembering the life you live is always watched and criticized. So when we are at your funeral, we won't have to embellish and make up lies. Keep this in mind as you move through this life and touch other people's lives. Thank you.
Young Quentin, representing RHS in the building. You know?
No,
I got you.
yeah. Intro this time.
I like your weaves.
This is real sappy. Get over it, sappy. Anyway, it's called Storm. Alright. Storm chasing, sitting back, just storm gazing. Thought of your power, got my pulse blazing. Ran on overdrive, got my mind racing. Trying to be the one for you, I'm storm chasing. I'm in that category of people that can hold it together until they're confronted by that one person from the opposite sex. Also the reason for your constant pit checks, and she's yards away, her beauty so sick. I'm glad I brought my Kleenex. As she moves, one foot after the other, like no other, I already know what happens next. We lock eyes, her gaze burns into me. I'm immediately dehydrated. My lips dry up like old fast food fries, and my tongue seems to have doubled in size. And at one point in this disaster waiting to happen, does so realize that she is my ultimate prize. Even though at the moment I feel like I'm meeting my demise. Yeah, my self-confidence seems to have taken a dive, and my shoes melt into the ground, and my clothes go from keeping me warm to cooking me alive. She's 5 steps away. I'm afraid, but if this was a buffet, I'd pick you first spot. Flexing my palms, squeezing the tongs, you have me higher than smoking out of 3 bongs. In rotation, or when prices are down at the gas station, heart rate up like inflation, I wait in anticipation as I'm 3 struts away from my mini vacation. Clark Kent to Superman, give me a moment to jump into my disguise. Hopefully, I brought the right disguise. Pull my hair out my face, puff out my chest, and stretch my neck to the skies. Or maybe I should figure out what I'm gonna say to this beautiful creature. I think to myself, that would be wise. Then it hits me like lightning, and after all the internal fighting, I man up and say, hey, how you doing? And shivers are sent down my spine as she replies with, I'm doing fine. At this point, where brain looks like a preschool freehand drawing with tons of colors and pointless happiness, I can feel my adrenaline falling. Jawline frozen with directions to wait while thawing. I can't walk. Hope she doesn't mind me crawling. Like a storm, I wait for her to pass. Wish I could stop her and make the moment last. Dark clouds as she walks away. If she comes back, I'll have a coat and say, Storm, if you were mine, I would never cheat. I would be the shade to your heat. Don't have to dance, cause you're the moves to my beat, the funk to my feet. And every 2-word combo runs through my mind on repeat, baby, you complete. I wish I knew the words, I could knock her out her seat, but they're probably so obsolete. Storm chasing, sitting back, just storm gazing. Thought of your power, got my pulse blazing. Rain on overdrive, got my mind racing. Wish I could be the one for you. I'm storm chasing. All right. Yeah.
Y'all give us some extra love. This is the first time on this. You did it, baby. You got this. All right. Boom.
So I'm going to sing a song. I'm going to sing my favorite scripture, the 23rd Psalm. I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and evermore.
What's up? Yeah.
So my name's Don Berg, and I wrote a book called Every Parent's Dilemma: Why Do We Ignore Schools That Nurture Children? Now mine's prose, not poetry, but I'm going to get some rhythm so that we can make up for the time. So one thing I'll say before I start is that this isn't the book I set out to write about a year ago. This one, I was almost done with another book. And this one jumped out, wrote itself down, and had to go first. And you don't argue with the muse.
Yeah, at all.
Especially when it writes itself.
That's right. What is wrong with the school is what is wrong with the family, is what is wrong with society. We are a society that has failed to gear itself to enable people to meet their basic needs. James P. Comer, What I Learned in School, 2009. K-12 schools are failing to nurture our children, but to hear the mainstream media tell it, you would think that the key problems of our K-12 system are either funding issues, diversity issues, or technical issues of pedagogy and accountability for achieving specified academic results. They do not even realize that nurturing is required, yet is absent. When critics notice how difficult circumstances, socioeconomic or otherwise, impair the capacity of parents to nurture their children, the critics mysteriously neglect to consider that a nurturing response by schools might be warranted. Today, the vast majority of parents default to entrusting schools with the care of their children for most of the waking hours of childhood. Yet they too fail to consider a nurturing response to the evident difficulties schools have in fulfilling their duties to children. There are reasons for the absence of these basic considerations of nurturing, both critics and parents, but it is time to put this ignorance behind us. Our children are not being supported while they're in school to meet their primary human needs, or basic needs, as Yale University's Dr. Comer calls them in the quote. Unless we take corrective action, the lack of nurturing will surely become a monumental disaster for society. Fortunately, there is a growing vanguard of both individuals and organizations who have been pioneering nurturing responses in K-12, myself included. We are a small minority. Education researchers, an elite club that I joined in 2011, have only recently taken our program seriously enough to study them. And early findings suggest a scientific vindication of our faith in nurturing through facilitation of self-directed learning. Our proclamations about the benefits of nurturing have been falling on deaf ears for too long. It is time for us to come together to deliver the nurturing message in a new way that can enable all of society to benefit from what we have accomplished. I've been involved with K-12 self-directed learning communities in the forms of democratic schools, homeschooling, and non-school learning communities for over 20 years. These educational alternatives have been around for over 100 years. And today, all of them put together serve less than 5% of the K-12 student population in the United States. Given how few students in the United States attend schools that support it, the influence of self-directed learning in K-12 is limited and substantive support is in short supply. K-12 programs that support self-directed learning are rare. Self-directed learning programs that receive public funding are a rarity amongst the rare. They are vanishingly scarce. When they dare to access public funds, they're under constant threat of being arbitrarily required to make important learning decisions for children, being made to take control of children's time and attention in ways that are detrimental to the children, or summarily closed by bureaucrats who just don't understand them. Self-directed learning programs usually choose to rely on scarce private funding as a form of self-defense, thereby also reducing their accessibility. Now, most people have probably never even considered self-directed learning for K-12 students, nor its challenges. My experience with successful alternatives came out of my own discovery of a passion to work with school-age children. I knew from my experience as a public school student in highly regarded schools, magnet programs, and districts that the classroom was not a good learning environment for me. It did not seem plausible that the classroom would be any better on the other side of the teacher's desk. Later, I became a teacherpreneur, homeschooling other people's kids. In the absence of a sustainable business model, I decided to return to school in 2010 to complete the psychology degree that I had started back in the 1980s in the midst of discovering my passion. My thesis research was a study of the patterns of motivation in the Village Home Education Resource Center, which operates kind of like a community college for K-12, and the Village Free School, a democratic day school. That research was published in 2013. Numerous studies of the patterns of motivation, engagement, and mental health of students in traditional schools have shown decreases in well-being. My thesis is one of very few published studies demonstrating that there are schools that actually support the psychological well-being of K-12 students. Support for self-directed learning is a major factor that distinguishes psychologically supportive schools from those that are not. The self-directed learning programs I have experienced and studied have a diversity of systems for ensuring that their students can make many decisions at a variety of timescales in order to learn how to be successful participants, both within these particular communities and in the world at large. Each school or program is a response to the challenge of ensuring that the community's structuring of student choices encourages children to start wherever they are presently at, and over time, develop longer commitments to accomplishing self-selected goals that are both interesting and valuable. Thank you.
I know, I'm better because she came in. She was just like, she was like, I'm sick. Make sure that our kids get what they need. And it sounds like those resources are definitely in the room. Please take the time to meet the folks who have books for sale and you want to discuss with them, you know, what these exchanges are. Because each of us has a sphere of influence, and we need to be able to make sure that we do the best that we can with what we have. There's a couple of organizations that are represented in here, and I got to say that because I can do that. BCC Brown Hall, yeah, and up and over. So with that said, I'm blessed to be a part of both of those organizations, and thank you, each and every one of you that are represented in both of that. But with that said, with a heavy heart, I gotta say that my friend's getting ready to like book up out of here and go to Texas. So he actually is our feature for tonight. Y'all give it up for my friend. Proper respect. Woo!
She says it with a heavy heart, but she cracks jokes like every 5 minutes on it.
That's barbecue sauce, by the way. Just
This lady right here has been an excellent spokesperson for my barbecue sauce. I do have some for sale. I do make my own.
I'm telling you.
I'm a customer. It's amazing.
Every 5 minutes, you just hear me like, yo, barbecue sauce.
I have my own motto is called "Every batch made from scratch." That's why it's called Scratch Barbecue Sauce. I came across, well, in one of the jobs that I used to work at, we needed barbecue sauce, and I made some, and it didn't taste right, so I kept making it until I was happy, and people said you should sell it. So there you go.
Yeah.
I got $7 for these, and then $5 for the half pints. I think there's only one left of these ones, so you have to be careful on that one.
You
But
will
yes,
not
I
be
am
mad.
moving to Texas on the 2nd of April. So if I don't have enough here and you want some, I'll give you my business card, and we could link up afterwards. But I came here to do some music. So you guys want to hear some music?
Yeah.
All right.
Kill him in Texas. Here you go.
Texas barbecue sauce.
I want to say something before this. I joined Up and Over because I heard that it was a program about how to teach kids, or not even how to teach kids, but how to try to relate with kids who are going through hard times. And even though life isn't perfect in theirs, you can show that you have the strength and that you can move on. I used to sell drugs when I was a little bit young. Dang, I can say that. When I was a little bit younger. It wasn't too young ago, but you know, I made a decision to get past that. And so this one is one of the songs that I wrote while I was selling drugs. And the hook is, I can't take your phone call right now because I'm too busy in life going out of my mind. Leave a message at the tone, we'll connect when I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind. So just kind of think about that while I'm going through this, and sorry to interrupt, but I just had to say it.
When I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind. I can't take your phone call right now because I'm too busy in life going. Leave a message at the tone, we'll connect when I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind.
My rhyme addiction is over the top. Before the rooster crows, I expose my toothbrush and begin to spit my thoughts. Splatter plaque, that's the baddest track rappers ever heard. Flush the toilet, let it swirl, mixing words and turds. I take the next hit before I can text or be breakfast. Proper respect is more visual sets than Netflix. Keep going down the checklist, exit the internet, then I'm back to deadlifting weight sets at the end of my session. I'll drop another thought bomb in the shower, clean flow power, half an hour when I talk poems. Food devoured, I'm giving you the extended version. I want my bank account stretched out, my driver's limousine excursions. I'm not the only star in hip-hop's constellation, but I shine so bright the prize that others get is consolation. Rhyme abomination, no snow glow, I got the afro like Black Belt Jones, Jim Kelly to kick your face in. The bottom of my tin boots is what you gon' be tasting. I can't take your phone call right now because I'm too busy in life going. I'll leave a message at the tone, we'll connect when I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind. I can't take your phone call right now because I'm too busy in life going. I'll leave a message at the tone, we'll connect when I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind. Yo, I'm thumbing through my money like the metronome counting. The most profound leaps and bounds are astounding. Stepping in Monoma County. I get them more rowdy than nights at Talladega. Proper rhyme slayer. What do I like? Sticky green beats and paper. My flows keep the ladies grinning. Smooth R&B for good times. Hood rhymes for crimes. When I feel like sinning, I know the way life does. You may not be in town living plush cause you're making moves, dodging handcuffs. From the pits to pit talk, my plans are mansion style. I narrate tracks like Alfred Hitchcock to expand my domicile. I'm either out my mind or rap smack mouth is out of vowels. Mainstream's the main thing, you nobody's even mouthing vowels. Single is the way I see it. Run around long enough, the villain, you gon' be it. That's how we raise believe it. Sooner or later, catch your vapors, cause corporations will take your fate and make the crates until your face scrapes the cement. I'll paraphrase the retake in case you missed the pieces. I can't take your phone call right now because I'm too busy, your life going. I'll leave a message at the tone, we'll connect when I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind. I can't take your phone call right now because I'm too busy, your life going. Leave a message at the tone, we'll connect when I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind. You like the beat? Midas the one who made it. I know the beat caught your attention. I got a glitch in my spine the first time when he played it. My lyrics worth the dime if you take out the dime and pay it. Fear of why? If life itself is what you make it, who can take it? I'm not here to save the game. I'm in my lane, you cape it. I wouldn't change a thing. I thank the rank so you can't fake it. I seen the light at the top of the stairs, but I ain't chase it. There's no other sound like this underground bounce to shake it. You heard my wordplay, so you know I'm more than good with it. Good riddance, just like rappers and they couldn't get it. If I could run this shit myself with no help and still win it, then that's what's up. I won't have to divide the wealth when I spend it. Solar waters pockets like rockets to look, I'll sport it. You can't ignore it. My voice is like a V8 when you floor it. My next verse will have to go without the said pronoun, because in this last verse, the 2-letter word it, I murdered it. Check your records and correct me if you heard different. I can't take your phone call right now because I'm too busy, your life going. I'll leave a message at the tone, we'll connect when I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind. I can't take your phone call right now because I'm too busy, your life going. Leave a message at the tone, we'll connect when I get back home, but that's the way it goes when you're steady on the grind. That's called Out My Mind. The sample is Marvin Gaye. Where did I get that? Oh, where can you get that? If you have Bluetooth, you can get it from me right now. Other than that, it's gonna go on SoundCloud, and I have a web page in the process, but it's not on SoundCloud yet.
I'll follow you on SoundCloud still.
I keep stuff like this. This one is off the upcoming album. It's called Money. It's an acronym for My Own Needs Exceed Yours. So yeah, that's, to me, that's what money means, and that's coming out. So I have time to do two, right?
Yes.
Or to do one? Okay. So one I'm gonna do, I usually do with the beat, but I want to do a spoken word because I feel the energy in here. So this one is called Up and Over. I dedicate this one to Giovanni because this is a song that I made for the kids. But I like to say it as a spoken piece. So I work all day and I work all night. They say the best things in life are free, but homie, that can't be, because if I stop showing up to my job, my landlord and the cops will throw me out in the street. Plus my papa didn't raise no fool. My mom's was cool, but even she charged me a fee to lay there, and this ain't daycare, so giving them gray hairs, that's not what I'm about. That's why I packed up all of my stuff and said I'm out. So now I'm in the streets. I wasn't in the industry. I'm setting up a hammock under billboards just to sleep. I sound much older when I speak. What I sow is what I reap. I still remember the cold on my feet. Now my soul is the heat that keeps the fire burning. What I stole from a thief was his desire for learning. I guess that makes me an accomplished then, but if you sit and really think about it, what a great accomplishment.
Up and over.
Yeah.
You gotta keep getting up and over.
Right.
Up and over, man. You gotta keep getting up and over.
Up and over.
Up and over. You gotta keep getting up and over.
Right.
Up and over. You gotta keep getting up and over.
So my hustle days. I give money to spend money. That's been my mission and definition of repetition in life, yet I'm still hungry, never slipping my grip on the kitchen knife. I slice and dice on the mic, that's right, I'm ill, honey. So what you looking at now is a coffee bean on grind at Starbucks. What's it to spend a few thou? More interviews now, while I'm into the cash mode and checking. I love the cash checks and I always check when you cash one. My flow can get so slow, it's more better than more last. It's up to so fast you won't catch it. If you give Henry his bottle cap and Johnny a bottle of glass and think you can kick it, then come kick it with me. My lyrics are direct deposits of physics and economics, my existence and technological objects. Either you missed it or you got it, but if you get it, then get it till it's gone, and remember your limits prone to product. Up and over.
Up and over. You gotta keep getting up and over.
Yeah.
Up and over, man.
Right.
You gotta keep getting up and over.
Up and over.
Up and over. You gotta keep getting up and over.
Yeah.
Up and over. You gotta keep getting up and over.
There you go. So the last piece that I'm gonna do is called So Fresh. And I gotta give a props out to the producer. His name is Taj Chihamid. He couldn't make it tonight because he had to work the graveyard shift. So, you know, I always big up to my producer. And keep a West Coast feel on it, but I still like to do my lyrics. So this is this one.
You can't stop me, I'm so fresh, that's right, fresh, no contest.
I always got respect in the game. My flow is proper. Proper respect is the name.
You can't stop me, I'm so fresh, that's right, fresh, no contest.
I always got respect in the game. My flow is proper.
Proper respect is the name.
I'm the no brand on the tag wearing. Hoodie jeans, t-shirts, a street work bearing. The beat got you looking and my spittings keep you staring. Every time I breathe deep, these nostrils be flaring. Plus the septum is double pierced, so my nose knows the way. I can smell your hate like it's cocaine pure. But y'all don't even faze me, I'm numb to the dumb. My ears and tongue repping harder than some Paisleys. This is that hip-hop gridlock. Either you TikTok or wicked shot or flip rocks. It ain't no more sticking socks and some flip-flops. Now it's skinny jeans, fake glasses, and gassing. Who was always there for the cause? Oh, it's been you that's been giving it. They all know it was me, the capital P. I bring the heat, and I'll make it look easy as 1, 2, 3. You can't stop me, I'm so fresh. That's right, fresh. It's no contest. I always got respect in the game. My flow is proper. Proper respect is the name. You can't stop me, I'm so fresh. That's right, fresh. It's no contest. I always got respect in the game. My flow is proper. Proper respect is the name. As I stand back, relax, and convey my mind, I think every track when a rapper frames the grind. It takes a strong back knob to degrade with time. I felt the whip snap, crack, and break on mine. We're enslaved to rhymes, did I believe in this? Cause in the dirt is where the beautiful put seeds in it and keeps feeding it. Yeah, big ups to Martin Luther King Jr. for having dreams of this. What you're seeing is an educated black man in front of the mic. I don't need the hype, I'm the type that exceeds limits. Anybody can write, but you listening because you like my seasoning. So save all the flavor of a major competitor until I lamp in the amps of the champions. It ain't the fact I'm in a class that you can't be in. I just outfox the box they try to stamp me in. You can't stop me, I'm so fresh. That's right, fresh. It's no contest. I always got respect in the game. My flow is proper. Proper respect is the name. You can't stop me, I'm so fresh. That's right, fresh. There's no contest. I always got respect in the game. My flow is proper. Proper respect is the name. In a 4-bar summary, I'm gonna be the one you see on the beat bumping, keeping it 100 street. I'm worth a couple extra months of summer breeze, bumming on the beach, taking off your watch, that's lost with the sun and sea. I need a strong woman under me, her body sweeter than a honey bun and dancing with the buzz of honeybees. There's more to what's happening. Laws of our passion, we're all for the asking, exploring, relaxing, attraction, intelligence, fashion, sex. Yes, that's so fresh. I can tell you what's next, but that mathematical quest is magic at its best. I'm not lying while rely on the science. If you about that life, then let's connect. Who's to say we couldn't build a higher step by step? Why we gotta fall in love when you lose that feeling for real? Why go still when we're way too fresh? I'm so fresh. That's right, fresh. It's no contest. I always got respect in the game. My flow is proper. Proper respect is the name. You can't stop me, I'm so fresh. That's right, fresh. It's no contest. I always got respect in the game. My flow is proper. Proper respect is the name. Thank you guys very much, man. I thank you guys so much. This is actually my last performance in Portland for now, until I come back, since she already got the bass on. But I thank you guys very much for listening. I thank you very much for the love. Giovanni, up and over. My mom, of course, I love you so much. Kiyoshi, braids for days. If you need your hair braided, Kiyoshi is the one. I love her. Love her as a good friend, as a sister. Jackie, too. This lady right here, she has great poems. I can't wait to hear more. And yes, I have your jar, and I need a book.
See, that's what's up. See how that connection happened? He was like, yeah, I got your jar and I need a book. Networking. That's what. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
How you doing?
Beautiful. How you doing?
See, I'm good. Okay, so this is the round circle. So when I did my very first Soulful Showcase at 720, 15 years ago, this brother and his brother they already had some kind of what kind of night did you guys have there? It was like kind of a
Old School Sunday.
That's what it was called. It was called Old School Sundays. And so we decided that we were going to get together and do a partnership. And so his brother DJ'd, and it was dope. And so and then you walk in here.
You're right.
It's just like that. Welcome to Soulful
Yeah,
Showcase.
well, thank you for having me.
15 years later.
I put just my words down on paper. I know this is really old school, but this is the first book that I ever did. I've been teaching in middle school for the past 25 years. And I'm from New Orleans. I came here after Katrina, right after Katrina, as a matter of fact. And I teach Afro-Brazilian drumming, dance. Well, actually, I teach all of the music of the diaspora, all of the music that Africans have touched throughout the Caribbean, South America, Cuba, Haiti, all of that, Louisiana, all of that. And so, in teaching some of my students how the music came here from Africa. No doubt slavery was a horrible, horrific event. But had it not been for slavery, we wouldn't have all of the different musics that we do have throughout the world today. And so I was trying to impress upon my students that fact that, you know, out of Africa, out of something horrible came something really wonderful. And that is all the music that we listen to each and every day, all of those roots come from Africa. And so I made reference to the TV show Roots, and I got blank stares. And so I said, well, certainly your parents have told you, you know, the story of slavery, or told you about Roots, and more blank stares and crickets. And there's this phenomenon in the South. I was told later by my principal that black people feel ashamed of slavery in the South, or they've been made to feel somehow like it was their fault. And he said, and also, a lot of these grandparents are 30 years old. So, you know, they struggled through school too. They didn't do so well in school too. A lot of them were dropouts. So they really didn't have much education to pass on to their offspring. And so I decided to write a book giving a first-hand account from a 15-year-old girl who was preparing for a wedding. And she is from the west coast of Africa. She's a composite figure. She's actually all of our common human experience on the planet generationally. And as she grows older, we progress through all the events of our lives since leaving the continent from the motherland. And so, and she prepares for this wedding, and she's all the drummers are getting ready, and the dancers are getting ready, and they're putting all the costumes together, and she prays to her deity. And one thing I try to get people to understand that slaves weren't taken out of Africa. People were taken out of Africa and turned into slaves. We had the same spirituality that everybody else claims that they have. We had the same family system. We had the same community system. We had everything that existed in Africa that existed in other parts of the world. And so I tried to make this a very personal account of a young girl who was preparing for a joyous day in which her best friend was getting married, and they were going to dance and sing. And that very next morning was the first day of the transatlantic slave trade. And so when the slavists showed up, the people, she and the people of her village didn't have words for the things that they were seeing. They didn't have words for guns, because they had never seen guns before. They didn't have words for chains, because they had never seen chains before. So all of this, they had to add these things to their lexicon through the eyes or through the language of the slaves. And so it's a very first-hand account. Her name is Nabeli. She was taken from her village. She was part of the transatlantic slave trade. She was taken to Brazil. After she was taken to Brazil, she was sold to a plantation in Cuba. She was then again sold into Haiti on a coffee plantation. She went to Jamaica, and eventually she made her way to a cotton tobacco plantation in Louisiana. And there she escaped, and she was taken in by the Native Americans. That story is a story that resonates with all of us, because all of us, and if you look at some of the cheekbones and some of the features in some of us, we all have a lot of Native American blood in it. One of the stories of Carnival in New Orleans is that the Native Americans on Carnival Day, which was the carnival was brought from Europe, the European carnival, and it was brought to the Americas through those English and the French and those kinds of things. And they had, you know, those masks with the long noses and, you know, the wigs, Marie Antoinette wigs and Louis XIV wigs, and they had carnival. And that carnival was a European tradition, or so they brought with them. And so they did not include Africans in their carnival. In fact, they weren't allowed to participate in that carnival. However, the French in Louisiana had a different way of looking at slavery a little bit, in that they gave their slaves some days off. And on Carnival Day, there also was one of the days that they gave the slaves off. Well, the Native Americans were the first ones that the Europeans tried to make slaves here in this country. But they were extremely intolerant to European diseases, which decimated the Native American population. And then you put a Native American in a field and you tell him that you want him to do something, and he's gone. So Native Americans didn't make very good slaves. And so since they tried to make them slaves at first, the Native Americans felt for the Africans. And so during Carnival Day, the Native Americans would dress up in full regalia when everybody else was dressing up in costume and having a carnival and a party. The Native Americans would come into town in full regalia. Now, television has painted Native Americans differently than the way they really were. A lot of these were Plains Indians, and that means that they spend all day in the sun. And anybody who spends all day in the sun is not going to look anything other than this. They may have a red hue to their skin, but they're still going to be dark people. And so, at the end of the day, the Native Americans would take off their headdresses and put them on Africans. And when they left town, they would take some of the Africans with them. And the Europeans couldn't tell the difference because the Native Americans were dark and the Africans were dark as well. And so they all walked out of town together, and that's how they were able to rescue and give sanctuary and sanction to a lot of the Africans who found themselves in slavery. So they passed what they called the Black Code in Louisiana, which meant that no African could wear feathers. Couldn't be caught with feathers on, because they got hip to the fact that they were being smuggled out of town during Carnival. Anyway, so prayers seemed very personal to me. So I had Nabeli write letters to her protective deity. And as a spiritual people, the Yoruba people of West Africa had a pantheon of saints the same way we do, or the Catholics do in the Catholic Church. And one of them was Shango. Shango is the equalizer. Shango is the protector. And so her mother told her that any time she was afraid or in a situation where she needed some protection, she should pray to Shango. Well, I didn't want to do prayers because it seemed very personal, so I had her write letters. So this book is 15 letters that she wrote to Shango during her entire period of captivity as a slave coming to the Americas. And what I'm going to do now is my principal said, you know, Chuck, that's great that you wrote this book to educate these kids. He says, but you know, our kids don't read. And I was like, wow. But he was right.
Yeah.
So, just so happens, I finished the book early October, and on Halloween, they played War of the Worlds on the radio by Orson Welles, which was a radio play, which turned, at the time, the entire East Coast of New York and New Jersey into this riot, because people actually thought that aliens had landed. And he was so convincing, and so I said, well, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do this as a radio play. And so I did a narrated version of the book, which is in the back. And so this is a read-along book that eighth grade, I mean, it deals with some issues, some historical issues. It deals with rape and, you know, those kinds of stuff. Not so much in that it's so descriptive, but it is mentioned because it's part of the story, it's part of history, and people have to understand it. And so my favorite audience is 12 to 15-year-old girls. They love this because the hero is somebody that they can identify with, and they love the story. And so I was doing this by myself, and I hate to take up so much time, but I had to kind of set this up. I tried to get some people to help me. You know, in New Orleans, we have a French market, and there's a lot of different people out there, ethnicities, Africans, and so forth. And I was doing this for my kids, and so I would approach some Africans and say, you know, can you just, you know, give me some dialogue, whatever, that I can put in my book? And, you know, everybody said, well, how much you going to pay me? And I was like, well, you know, I'm doing this for the kids. It's out of my own pocket. Really, there's no money involved. And so nobody really wanted to do it. So what I did was, I would take a chair and sit down next to the African market and listen to the Africans all day long and pick up their accent as they spoke English. And so I developed an African tinged accent, which I used in the book. And I did the same thing with French, I did the same thing with English. So all of the pieces in the book, the music, the artwork, I did the whole thing entirely myself, just because I couldn't afford to pay people to do it. And so what I'm going to play for you right now is the actual letter that she read to Shango during the transatlantic slave trade. And I'm going to play the soundtrack, which is on the CD. Without the words, and I'm going to recite the letter using the accent that I used in the book. Dear Shango, I don't know what has happened to you. I don't know whether you can see us or hear us. Every day we cry out to you from the belly of this big black floating box. We lay down most of the day and night with these heavy metal ropes on our ankles and wrists. We are unable to get up to relieve ourselves, so we must go where we lay. The box is always moving. It makes some of the men and women get sick in their stomachs and throw up. We are covered in each other's waste. It is hard to breathe in this hot, smelly, foul air. Many have died, and many are dying. The white monsters come 2 or 3 times a day and take the dead away, or to feed us. They put the food in our hands that are covered in waste and expect us to eat. Sometimes they take us up on deck and they throw cold water on us to wash us. They also keep some of the women up on deck, and these women come back and say they were made to dance with these monsters and held down while these monsters touched them and forced themselves inside of them. One woman jumped over the side of the box into the water. Another man was beaten to death for fighting them. Bila said soon they will come for us to do the same thing. I do not want the monsters to do that to me, Shango. Can you help me, please? Are you still there? Nabeli. So anyway, I have 3 copies here if anybody would like them. They are $19. Again, it's like getting 2 books. You have the written book and you also have the audio book. And I encourage people to read this along, or have the kids read along with the audio, so that if there's any words that they don't understand, it will be pronounced and recited for them, and they can also look it up in the glossary. But you know, there's a stigma that, you know, people who don't read very well, when you ask them to stand up and read, they don't want to do that. They don't want to get embarrassed. They don't want people to snicker and to laugh at them. And so a read along is actually the best way to get kids to read along, especially if the story that they're reading comes alive. And that's what I was hoping to do with the CD. And so I have that here. The other thing I have is called Endangered Species. And I just finished this. This took me 11 years to do. And I want to warn anybody, I self-published this. If anybody self-publishes, please make sure that your copy is pristine. Because any changes that they have to do if you self-publish, because self-publish is a very inexpensive way to get your book printed. However, they charge you for every edit. They charge you $35 for every edit. So if you have a comma misplaced, that's $35. So please, if you self-publish, go through it with a fine-tooth comb, have other people edit it for you, have other people look at it for you, because they will publish it with all of the errors in there if you do not pay them. And I had to find out the hard way. And I have 10 of these books that still have some original errors in there, which I had paid them extra $100 to do what they call a quick edit, but they missed a lot of stuff. And I contacted them and they said, well, you didn't pay us to fix that. So anyway, long story short, this book is about a young Marine who was in an observation compound in Antarctica. A worldwide catastrophe went on while he was stationed in Antarctica, and when he got out of the service, when he was ready to get out, he found out that he was the last black man alive on Earth. And I don't know if anybody knows Charles S. Dutton. Used to be in a show called The Rock on television. He has a copy of my book now. We're trying to get it optioned for a movie. And so, getting up going from a book to a movie is a very slow process. Anyway, it's a good read. It reads like a movie. Everybody read it. Aside from the few typographical errors that you'll find in there, which I couldn't pay for them to fix everything. But anyway, it's still a great book. It's still a great read. So if you're just looking for something that's going to make you smile by the end of it, it has a happy ending. All right.
They say keep your head up, baby, don't worry. But it's hard when your vision gets blurry. They say stop tripping, it's not a big deal. But what they don't understand, it's hard when you feel like the world's caving in. I'm drowning, I'm counting the seconds, minutes, hours until somebody saves me. But I'm stranded. I can't be helped by anyone but myself. It's a long mission home. I gotta take care of myself. And once I make it, I've got to get hold of the reality I lost and watch it unfold with the people I love. They're still here for me, even though it felt in that moment like I was all alone, like a blade and tears were the only option. But this anxiety was fiery and filled the capacity of my body entirely, defiantly. This insanity left me in a rivalry between myself and reality. I'm trapped at the bottom of the ocean. Which way is up, which way is down? But when I reach the surface, there's no telling how powerful I'll be. I'll glow brighter than the sun's reflection on that ocean, the way it glimmers when the waves blow over. But I'm also as intense as the rolling waves crashing to the shore, colliding with the world like there's nothing to lose. No bruises, but maybe scars. They'll fade away just as the tides change, and the gravitational pull of my loved ones is the moon to my ocean. They keep me going, keep me alive to survive and thrive, to understand and learn. No longer will I need a knife because love and wisdom are the only lethal weapons I need. No longer will I let this quicksand of quiet consume me. I will be a wisdom warrior, a contortionist of compassion, a liaison for love, a better person. This is a thank you. A thank you to those who have stood by me when I didn't want to be standing at all, who have helped me realize the world before my eyes can, yes, be cruel, but is also the world that has the potential to push my passion and allow me to pursue my purpose. I've always been able to give advice, but never take it myself. So without further ado, I guess I'll speak some truth. Yes, keep your head up, baby, don't worry. I know it's hard when your vision's so blurry, but I can't say it's not a big deal because you feel like you're drowning and counting the seconds, minutes, hours until somebody saves you. I'll be your lifeguard, you just have to keep your head above water. And eventually you understand you are a wisdom warrior, a contortionist of compassion, a liaison for love. And your feelings are as valid and real as anyone else's. Just like you told me, you are intelligent, you can make good decisions, you're living for yourself. No matter what others think you should want, feel, or need, because they don't know. Thank you. Racism does not exist, says the well-off white man living on the hill. Racism does not exist, says the woman who had never been asked to drop her bag in the store, says the man who had never had trouble getting a job, says the man who had never been stopped by police, says the man who had never been murdered by police. I know what you're thinking, another kid getting rowdy over race. Look at her face. Well, you would be too if your friend was tased by police. And it doesn't matter whether or not he was a good kid on the football team or someone lost in negative extremes, he's just a kid, minding his own business, but then soon a victim of being suspicious. The whole scene was vicious and left me with the sickness. Left me feeling ill, and these cops were left with the thrill. They're doing their same damn drill, waiting to pounce on the next kill. And the police reports were long because I know that they know that we know they did something wrong. And it's not about whites fixing blacks or blacks fixing whites. It's shining a light on the dark tunnel of ignorance our people are so lost in. Gentrification will not solve our cause. Portland itself has the worst faux pas, #1 in the nation for pushing out communities. White businessmen come in thinking they're building immunity, all while cultures struggle to survive. Black, Latino, Asian, Native, the whole beehive. And our women have got it the worst. The queens of all cultures just seem to be cursed. Why are we still talking about rape and the way that the rapist is praised? Why are we saying that the victim is to blame? To be asking for it or not to be asking for it? She must have been. Her shoulders were showing and her legs were all skin, so what if consent was not given? No one will believe her. She belongs in the kitchen. And for God's sake, stop hitting on us in the street. Don't tell me to smile. It's not as flattering as you think. I don't have to live up to these expectations you hold. These whistles and compliments are really getting old. Bold choices made by these grown men, yet if women were to try them, we'd be far from commended. But men don't have it off the hook completely. Don't show too much emotion. Don't be less than man. Don't talk like a woman. Don't throw like a woman. Don't love like a woman. God forbid you resemble anything woman. But the strongest thing you could be is woman. Fight like a woman, create life like a woman, or to not create life like a woman, because after all, it is her choice. And just because you have a vagina doesn't make you a chick, and having a dick doesn't make you a guy. Lies told to us early on to make us believe what's right and what's wrong. Don't be with the one you love if you have the same junk. Don't be on the outside looking in. It's cold out there. Murderers, muggers, and malice reside there. The world is a dark and scary place. We blame society for suicide, yet are we not society just standing by on the sidelines? Genocide is a crime against humanity, and pushing people off the edge with words seems to be too. My friends may preach pussy, money, weed, but what they don't see is that women aren't objects, money is tough if you live in the projects, and drugs don't help if you completely disconnect. The United States is considered a developed country, built on guns and germs and steel, built on the graves of lost cultures and the brittle yet burly bones of our ancestors, but we love it here. We raise that flag, put our right hand on our heart, one nation under God, we say in unison, while the descendants of its architectures lie in prison. But we don't mind. We keep our heads high. While you may think we all coexist, just remember, none of these things exist.
This right here look like this need to happen.
I found this in my many ripped out pages. I have like a big space in my writing mobility, basically because I'm a mom and I've been through a lot of things, and dealing with them is good. Lately in my life, I've been revived on my childhood inner conversation with Creator, and that is something that used to astound my parents because they used to wonder what was wrong with me. Like, do you realize what people have been doing to make life easier in America? They were fed that dream that if you just act right, then they'll treat you right. Or if you just assimilate, or you try but keep a little culture for your family, but as long as you simulate, you should be fine. Should be no problem, right? No, I'm a single mom. There's an epidemic with young men. They don't seem to know what's going on at all. Where they come from, they know, but that's like reading a book and knowing what it said, but not really getting it. And so that's not the poem I was going to read, but I'm giving you a little background to why this is so small and so important to me. I've been preaching this, and I say preach it because I've been literally, it just feels like preaching. I've been preaching it for the past few years. They're my witness. That gardening, farming, the very thing taken from us people that are struggling hard to be considered when we're everywhere doesn't make any psychological sense. So for me, the biggest solution is to change your mind on what you're asking for. Stop asking for freedom. Stop asking for food. Stop asking for elements that you are born with. You were born on this planet. You belong to this planet. The planet belongs to you. It is your relative. The animals are too. I'm tired of people walking in a complete bubble of illusion. It's like the Truman Show. It's like the Lorax. It's like every movie that they are showing you to your face. Look what we're doing to you. Look what we're doing to you. You can't even afford to go somewhere else and see what we're lying to you about. That there's actual, everything you see here is somewhere else, but they're doing it better. Okay, because they don't live a lie every single day. They're allowed to be free in themselves. That being said, I believe in us not just running from our problems, but actually pushing the issue of self-preservation, sustainability. Stop running away from vegetables. Stop running away from water. Stop eating their crap. Sorry, I like some of the stuff. But, you know what I mean? Buy from her. This is Black woman. Buy from her and she's holding it down. But we need to start activating ourselves. What are you born here for? To just ask somebody for something? You're born here to just pop a bottle in your baby's born to a bottle? If you have to, I get it. But if you don't have to, stop choosing that, because that is, you just have to go back to your childhood. What is the most important thing for you? What's in your best interest is what's in your best interest. And anybody who's not in for your best interest is not in for your best interest, period. Anything you have a question about, repeat the question. You got the answer. Because it's all in you. Every question you have, the answer will come as soon as you ask it. So when we have leaders and speakers, a lot of people, what should we do? The leader was a messenger, not really a leader. Someone came to speak to you because they have a message for you. They're not here to save you. You have to save yourself. You have to, from within, shine out. You have to start eating your health. You got to start eating your spirituality. You got to start ingesting that and stop acting like it's going to come from a doctor, from some pill, from some anything thing that's not growing or that isn't a natural element. It belongs to you. And for us to continue to act like it don't means that they really did a good number on us. Man, you cannot tell me those people are stupid or that they didn't know what they were doing. You can't tell me that oppressors don't know what they're doing. They do. They know more about what they're doing than you do. They know more about you than you do. And they're using you against you. So, that being said, I had this little thing because I have these like spurts of writing now. I don't have that like passion like when I was his age. I was just like, when I was your age, just like you. I wrote just like you. You remind me of me back in the day. I just used to snap. But now I just have little spurts of thoughts and I accept those too. So I'm just going to say all that to say this. I dream of gardens. Upon the land I shall save them. I'm sorry, let me start over. I dream of gardens upon the land I shall save by planting them. I dream of farms, feeding families in need of vital food as any other seed. As any child, dad, or mother, I can never be greedy. I'll water. I feel my dreams. I feel my soul, and I feel my destiny. And with that being said, put a leftover of lettuce in a pot and watch it grow. You don't need to go to gardening school. You don't need to go and you don't need to be wealthy starting out. You don't need to be privileged. You just have to take the first step to say, tomorrow I'm going to try and do this. There's so many DIYs on YouTube. My children learn everything from YouTube if they can't learn it from me or from school. They learn more from that than they do from school, honestly. But
Books.
anyway, anything you want to know, you can find out. There's books, there's everything. But we continuously put our energy towards frequency. TV frequency, telephone frequency. All these things are still extracted elements from ourselves. If we learn to use our elements properly, then we would shine. Our example will change everyone around us. So the answer is not, what are they doing? What are they doing? Yes, we got to know that so we can watch our back. But we need to ask what we're doing. What are we doing? What are you doing today? Did you drink water? I have to tell myself these things. I'm not preaching. This is something I've learned in the past few years. I've lost a son. I've had 4 children. I've been adopted. I have biracial family. I have a very universal way of looking at things, but I see things like a bird. And I see that all of us are really in danger if we do not really get down to nitty gritty about the fact that the planet is not a subject that should only be important to like science teachers, biology teachers, earth science teachers. That's not, they're passionate about it because nobody else is. And they're passionate about teaching kids science because nobody else is really thinking that science is universal. Your science should be in your spirituality. It should be mixed together. Because once they separated that, they got you. They got you because as long as you can't activate, you can't use alchemy, you can't use your powers that you have, all these folklore things you read about, they didn't just make up that shit. They didn't make it up. There's a lot of stuff they took from ancient times. And if we just go back and read, it's all there. We just go look it up. Every thought you have, every question, go to look it up. Don't necessarily look at a book and read it like thoroughly through. If it's an ancient book like the Bible, or some stuff you can read through, but some stuff you gotta study. You gotta know who existed on this planet, if there's a factual evidence or writing about it. But then also take time to look at what everybody else is saying, because people will always tell the truth when they're lying. And when you compare the stories, you kind of see what's really going on. It's like when you talk to all your kids instead of one about what happened, somebody will tell you the truth. They'll tell you the truth of what they're doing. Some people confess it. There's people who were descendants of slaves who are putting it out there how much is really owed, over trillions of dollars. So instead of saying, I want that, give me that, we're still asking for hemp paper with ink on it. That is the cause of so many lives. It's not even worth it. And they put those same lives in jail for that same hemp that they grow up in Indiana. You know what I mean? I know too much, but I refuse to let that be my insanity. I instead would rather empower myself and let everybody know, and be that fool that doesn't care and will just sit there and geek out about farming and geek out about soil and geek out about the things that once you start exposing yourself to, you start feeling better. Yeah. Just like when the sun was shining today, everybody felt good. Everybody wanted to go outside, wash their cars, take their kids to the park. When it's cold, we're like, because it's screwing up your pineal gland. You need some time out there. You need to activate. You don't have sunshine, drink green juice, eat salad, eat some kale. It sounds crazy to people who have been fed bread all the time. And if you're in the cold, you're just gonna want to eat bread and soup because it's cold. But guess what? You can grow things on your porch. You can grow. There's people in New York that grow things on their roof, and they live in the cold too. So it's just a matter of finding out how to make that work in the climate you're in. And I'll make it shorter, sorry, but it's flowing. Okay. My thing is, find out any way you can to put your hands in the dirt. And that way, you can save yourself, your future. You are already you. You're already if you're an adult, if you're over 18, you might as well start looking about the future. Because next, in a hop, skip, and a jump away, you're going to be an adult, and they're going to ask and demand things from you. And you're not going to be able to know what to do before it's time for you to move. It's just like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And you're like, okay, I just turned 18, shit. I don't have time to grow up yet, you know? And don't have a kid too early. That's me, you know? Thinking I'm, you know, because I'm mature. I've been mature for a minute. I was born grown. But at the same time, experience does not make, lack of experience does not make you grown. It's because you have all the grown parts. You have to have the instructions. You need the instructions. You can't just like buy a box from the yard sale and be like, I'm gonna put this together. And you don't have the instructions. You need to go ask somebody. Wisdom is so important. It's experience with knowledge, not just the book. It's knowing what the book means. And so don't think that gardening and healthy trends are just only privileged folk activities. It's actually the very thing we did for this country every day for hundreds of years. And they stopped letting you know that. They stopped giving you access to that because when slavery was about to end, because of the uprising, not because of the Civil War, but because of the guerrilla warfare that was going on to stop white supremacy by the Gullah, which is native tribes, African and native. So they lied to you. They lied to you, all up in school still to this day lying to you about how it ended. And they don't want you to know because you're not going to find that out unless you look it up now. If you look up in your books now in the school, it's not going to be there. There's going to be a little asterisk in place of Black, African, and Negro, where when it comes to native wars that happen. So my thing is, get back to what your ancestors were doing. Don't just talk about your ancestors and what they went through. Talk about what they learned, what they taught, what they did for those people that owned them. They needed them to grow the food they ate. They needed them to build the shit, build everything. So what makes you think you can't do it? Why can't you do it? Because when slavery was over, everybody, all the slave owners, all the people who may have been in the South or realize that there's a whole bunch of free Black people are about to come out here with skills, gardening, all kinds of stuff. They got access to college now. They're free because that back then they're actually going to try to let you do things because you're free now. Now it's a lot of psychological crap. But when right upon ending that, There was unions, worker unions. Now, what do you see? Every single city in every single state across the country, in every construction company, you see hardly any of us. One here, one there, and a bunch of Mexicans do the dirt work, and everybody else is not us. So my thing is, that don't mean we can't do it. That doesn't mean they won't welcome us to do it. But we're just not thinking of it because it's been years and years and years of not being pushed away from that idea. Because now you're fighting for your own freedom. You're fighting to be black in a place where you were slaved. And these people are forming unions because they know if they don't do this now, you're going to build up your fortune and there's going to be a competition. We're not in competition. We're just trying to survive. But somebody the whole time was in competition for you. Not everybody, but enough to make it count. And if you know this, if you go back and you just don't be afraid to tell the truth, learn the truth. It's not about being better than anybody. It's really about the truth. We all possess the same elements, the same qualities, the same bad shit. We all own all of it. So we can't really keep pointing the finger until we go here first. It takes each one to teach one. And we can teach each other. We can teach the opposite. Whatever you think is opposite of you or doesn't understand you, teach them. If you're hollering at them, they won't learn shit. And if they're hollering at you, walk away. But my message today is get in the dirt. Please save the earth, save the planet, because you have babies now. She's gonna grow up. The little man over here, he's gone. He's gonna grow up. My children are gonna be adults in this world. We gotta think about what they're gonna be walking in. Are they gonna be walking into no trees, like the Lorax? Are they gonna walk into selling air in a bottle? Is this what we're dealing with? We're not just talking about race anymore. We're talking about vitality, your very health, what you breathe. We're talking about Total Recall, RoboCop, all these weird things they showed you in the beginning, but now it's coming to pass. So before you go and start organizations and do all, really think about how that's going to actually change things. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say.
Like I need to get that off my chest. Get that off my chest. Till the ground. It's okay, I get it.
Okay, so it's from John.
Hey.
Yeah.
See, I should know.
Yeah. This is the same one I did earlier. I'm gonna do another one, but yeah, here. So can you turn it up a little bit? Said it's synchronicity when I rhyme in ink, cause it's about time we change the way that we think, and it's synchronicity when I rhyme in ink, cause it's about time we change the way that we think. Sometimes I get astonished when I rhyme, but it can get tough when I think deep enough inside my mind and get lost, kinda like crisscross colors through a prism. I move with a samurai's precision, and I make no split decisions. My defined mind's eye holds the vision. I defy what alchemy has turned us into. Who knew Babu would lead the indigo troops? The future's in our hands, and deja vu ain't no accident. Any more screens, and we gon' wonder where human interaction went, spiritual attraction went, where direct action went, and dissatisfaction for the whackness in your face, clear as day with no chemtrails. Drawn on the sky to forecast this heavy metal rains. What affects the brain is when you lose yourself on a lower vibrational plane. It maintains a living struggle. Once you pass the half step, life stays moving on the double, and the king don't need no trouble unless it's for my people. My mind's the deadliest weapon, sharper than hypodermic needles used to sterilize your people. Yes, all of this is legal, still slavery, just a sequel. There's no escaping the evil, please. These thoughts in my brain ain't nothing new, but I'm trying to stay jolly like Prancer or Roo. I never tune into the cables. BB kicking flows at the booth, so graceful, surrounded by zombies on no sleeping Dayquil. This Ali be lighting up the darkness like angels. I'm so big-hearted, it hasn't even been started. And I got a lot of knowledge, even though there's more than that to being conscious. I assist the world by existing with intention, while my higher self ascends into different dimensions. And I need to leave 7.23. Everything seems to be disharmonic on this wavelength. It's synchronicity when I rhyme in ink, cause it's about time we change the way that we think. And it's synchronicity when I rhyme in ink. It's about time we change the way that we think. Yeah.
Thank you, each and every one of you, for showing up. Uno más. Except for the folks, y'all got time for one more?
Yeah.
All right, one more? Yeah. Because you know we over time, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But we doing good. Nobody's
Turn it up,
rushing.
please.
Nobody's, yeah, because your mama got a little long.
I know. It's like, that's the most smallest poem ever.
Okay. So I wrote this a while ago. I think I did it for the youth summit, but I'm not. Yeah. Okay. So. I said, I'm the king of my hometown, well respected when I throw down. Born of light, shining bright like stars in Motown. Never hesitate to bring the low down. For those who don't know, this flow is not likely to slow down. Yo, sweet tight flow, beats the type of cat to drop a verse blow for blow. I'm precise and momental, my rhymes are note for note to the story that I'm living in. This life is not a joke. I need everyone to listen when I say leave room to grow. A fish won't get no bigger till it gets the bigger bowl. That's the life we all are living. Don't try to fit the mold. Your personal perspective directs the episode. Use your brain like a president, CEO, and let your third eye project you on the seat of your soul. Man, I travel space so long and far beyond my earth years old. From birth to journey starts the story gradually unfolds into a world where our so-called leaders are nothing but foul and cold. Not to generalize, but there's a reason why we're still living in the ghetto, and there's another reason why our family life is never settled. I know precisely why corrupt cops murder and get medals, or why history is classified by the federals. In the midst of all that, I'm gonna spot me a meddler. Once you think you know me, I'm 10 steps ahead of you. I stay observing cause I gotta be my own editor. I'm abstract and my flow is coming apex predator. Girls will get me wrong, I'll do my best to take care of you. My brothers I salute, don't let the hatred get the best of you. We lighten up the darkness so you know what's next ahead of you. Old King Alfred's bringing mass hysteria from the USA to 10 section off areas. Evil's working every day with no breaks, I'm telling you. So who am I to lie away? Refuse to speak the truth up in your area. My voice is nice to rhyme like the mind or a transmits characters. Frequencies that frequently start a chain reaction. If you think that this is deep, that's just a trend of a fraction. Since we're talking math to whack and lash, it's like subtraction. It's the mindset I'm attacking, and it's like people stay acting like they weren't meant for adapting. But I know it's bound to happen. With these lines, I bet eventually I'll be doing time just for rapping. The mind is revolutionary, that's just how I came. 16 years around the sun and nothing's changed. How can we live free in the home of the slaves? Under the same system that just puts we're in chains. They took off the shackles just for us to lose our brain. Our courage and our hearts, capitalism is a game. The place is our reality, we fight to stay sane. I just hope I get our mind tricks, level out the plane, cause it's smarter than all this garbage. I got one more thing to say. If we don't wake up in this day and age, you make slavery seem okay. And it's not. Yeah. About that.
Young King.
This is why I do this. Thank you guys for being patient, and we went over time, but nobody's complaining. So that just means that we must have did what we were supposed to do, which was connect and be able to engage and be able to share what we have in our hearts and our minds and our spirits. Hopefully you learned something tonight. Hopefully you got inspired tonight. Thank you for coming to Soulful Showcase. I'll see you next month, yeah?
Yeah.